What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the X-Transbots Commander Stack, their version of a Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. So this was sent to me by Dr. Diecast. I did buy my own from the Chosen Prime. It's still available there if you're interested in picking one up. Now, this figure is actually not the first Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. We originally got one from KFC, which is the X-Transbots alternate line. And that was also, I believe, Commander Stack. That was a kind of stylized version of a G1 Ultra Magnus. Then we got the Takara Tomy Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, which I have to this day. We'll take a look at him a little bit later. And then finally we got this guy here. Now, in the meantime, Fans Toys has announced their version, so of course we'll take a look at that when that comes out. But let's take a look at this guy up close. He really has some very nice, shiny, and good looking paint. All the blue, red, and white is paint, so pretty much 100% painted. The only thing I think is not painted is this plastic piece here, but the thighs are painted, this waist piece, the arms. Either it's painted or it's a very, very nice colored plastic because it just looks beautiful. Here's the back. Extremely clean back, so this is one of the first we've gotten that's so clean like this. Now, the cost of that is a very frustrating transformation, which we'll get to a little bit later, but it is gorgeous from this angle and from this angle. Pretty much all angles. So let's take a look at the accessories you get with this guy. So first off, you get a little minifigure here. This is the only human version of Ultra Magnus when he turned into that human in the one episode. It is fully painted. He's wearing the overalls. The hands are kind of posed pretty weirdly. It kind of reminds me of Chappelle. There's one episode where he's scratching his arm, and if you know, you know. But anyway, here is the figure. It does look good. Now, the size of this is a little unique. So here is the Dr. Wu version of the only human Ultra Magnus. It does have a moving head, but everything else is static. I do like the fact that the arms are down to the sides. Now, you can also hold it up next to the Takara Tomy figure that comes with it. This is the Spike, and again, way too big. And somebody mentioned, hey, what if it does scale with the bigger size Spike? But here's the bigger size Spike from the Hound figure, and it's still way too big. He looks like a giant. So it just doesn't really scale with anything, but it does look nice next to Commander Stack here, and mine does stand up. I know the Chosen Prime did a review, theirs didn't stand up. You also get his blaster here, done in a beautiful metallic blue paint. It's got a white handle, it's nicely sculpted and detailed. That will fit in either hand with the typical Masterpiece tab system, and he holds it pretty securely. And there you go. And it's a good looking gun, if I might add. Now, getting in close on the head, you do have some accessories here for this. So you have some alternate face plates. So what you want to do is just pull forward on this part of the helmet, and that'll take that off. So in order to change out the face, you just pull forward on this and then replace it with another face. Now, before I do that, I want to show you what's behind here is the battery compartment. So you want to take out these two screws right here. Make sure you don't lose them, they're pretty small. And yes, unfortunately you do have to remove these screws. There's another set of screws I'll show you a little bit later, but take that out, set that aside. And when you look on the back side of this, you'll have this piece here. And there's actually a button in here. It comes loose pretty much every time, and actually already came loose. So that's just a little triangle button. You're going to need tweezers or something to get it back in there. It's just, it sits loose in here. So you're going to put that back before you put the batteries in. But the batteries go in here. There are LR 621, I believe. And unfortunately, I tried multiple batteries. I went and bought them and they didn't work. So I don't know if I got bad batteries or if I got bad light unit here, but mine I haven't been able to get light up. So I'm probably going to buy another set of batteries and try it out again, but for this one I just couldn't get it working. So starting off with the straight faces, there it is with the, I don't know what he's doing, pursing, whistling, smiling. And there is the concerned or yelling face. This is my personal favorite. And here you have the goatee style face. And he kind of has bigger eyes on this set. So you actually get two sets of translucent eyes. So if I had the light gimmick working and had good batteries, depending on which one you're replacing, you're going to put either these bigger eyes or you've got these smaller set of eyes, depending on the type of face you're putting in there. So just make sure you match it up with the smaller one for the regular face and the bigger one for the goatee face. There he is with the kind of yelling goatee face. And last you have the smiling goatee face. Not my favorite, but there you go for all the options. All right, now let's go over his articulation. The head is on a rotating swivel, but it also has a ball joint built in, so you get down to there, up to there, not a lot. You have a side-to-side movement on the head, and you get a rotation around. Nice looking head sculpt too, fully painted. You have a rotation at the shoulder here on a ratchet. Now, it's a soft ratchet. This one works okay, and this one doesn't. And this is a common issue that the screw that's attaching this ratchet ends up loosening as you rotate the arm. So if I go this way, it's on that soft ratchet. It's working as it's supposed to. If I go this way, it starts to loosen. If I go too far, you can see it starts developing a gap. Eventually, it's going to come right off. That screw is just going to come right off and then loosens. I don't want to take it all the way off. And unfortunately, I cannot take the screw out to be able to fix it. That screw is over tightened. And so basically, if I take it out, it's probably going to strip, or I'm probably going to strip the screw. So I can't get it out. I'm just going to leave it. But you might have that issue, so just know you don't rotate backwards too many times because it might fall off. You have a rotation at the bicep. You have in and out movement here. This is just a pop-out joint. Now, some of them are tight, and I had other people who told me theirs was tight. Mine, this one was really tight. I've gotten it a little bit looser, but this one tends to get stuck, whereas this one works better. It's mainly for transformation, because you can put them in for robot mode, so it looks like that. But in the book, they pull it out for transformation. I think it looks better just out all the time. So just leave it out, and then you don't have to deal with that. Just leave it out all the time. Now, continuing on, you have a rotation at the bicep. You have a joint that goes up to there. You also have another joint here at the elbow. So that's cool. I've never seen a articulation out like that. You have a double jointed elbow, but it's tricky because the joint is in here and you can't really get it out. In the book, they show pulled down like this, pull this part down. It doesn't work. It's too tight. So I recommend you fold it up to here and then just give it a little extra push and it will pop it out. So you can see that joint popped out now. So now I can use the double joint and I get the full motion out of that. And that's a cool joint there. I just wish it worked a little bit better. This missile can rotate all the way around, can go up and down. I wish this pegged in, but it works okay. And then the missile part can actually pop off and you can, pretend like he shot somebody with it. This part does rotate, so in box it might be rotated incorrectly. You just want it to rotate so that the fin is at the top, and it looks like that. Continuing down, you have really nice articulated hands. Each finger is individually articulated, 1, 2, 3 pins. You also get a joint that allows them to splay out, so that's really cool. It does rotate at the wrist, and then the thumb is on 2 pins and a ball joint. So very, very nicely articulated hands, but not loosey-goosey like old KFC style. Nice and tight. So I really like these hands. They did a great job on these. Continuing down, you have a waist rotation here. And actually, before we go to that, let me show you this. So if you lift up here, I don't know if you call this articulation or a feature. I guess it's a feature. You fold this open, and voila, you've got the doors inside there. And here's your matrix, and you pull it apart. It opens up that much. There's a nice painted blue gem in the middle with the gold, and then the chrome paint. It is plastic, it's not die cast, so don't be too rough with it. But that'll go back into there. I find that it doesn't necessarily stay all that well, but Close those doors. Close this up. There's two tabs here. They're going to fit into these two slots. So just close that up, and there you go. You have a ab crunch that extends up and out, and you don't want to go that far. I'll talk about this a little later. This is part of the transformation, but you can lift it all the way up to there. Goes down to there if you want. Rotates around. I mean, you can get really anything out of that. It's a very cool articulation joint. Just be careful with it. For hip skirts, you have, and this is one of the issues. So the hip skirts are in a little piece here, and I'll open this up so you can see. And I'll try to get in close if I can, but these little peg holes actually have a hairline fracture in them right out of the box. They're actually cracked. So this one's okay. This one's cracked. So a result of that is it's loose. It doesn't sit. So as we do transformation, you might see this hip skirt just fall off, and that's because of that hairline fracture. But you can lift this up, and it does get in the way here, unfortunately. And if you lift this up, you can see this one also kind of collides. What you need to do is push down, and then it'll go all the way up. And on the back, you also have a hip skirt there. So the leg will go up to there on a soft ratchet. It does hold. Back to there on a soft ratchet. Out to the side on friction. Again, nice, strong, tight ratchets. The rotation of the thigh around a universal. Close all these up. Oh, and ignore that for now. I'm going to show you that in just a little bit. And you can clap this back down. Like I said, this is so tight. It's very hard to put back. But you have a double jointed knee. So if you go up to there, it seems like that's it. But actually, there's a little bit more. So there's a joint inside the blue. So it gets you up to there. So that little piece comes out. So you're a little bit more than 90 due to that double joint. You have ankle tilt on a ratchet all the way up to there. Really nice. And a forward tilt on that. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime and the Magic Square 2.0 Optimus Prime, just in case you have one or the other. And he fits in perfectly, of course, with the Masterpiece scale. And for another comparison, there it is next to the Fans Toys Hot Rod Cup Blur, the DX9 version of Rodimus Prime, and then, of course, Magnus. He looks great with all these guys. And here's a comparison that I think everybody wants to see, the Takara Tomy version of Ultra Magnus, and you can see he's actually quite a bit bigger, but he's also a bit chunkier just all over. He's just a overall more chunky bot. His sculpt is very different. This guy's a little bit more svelte, looks a lot more like the cartoon, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just wanted to show you the comparison. We'll do a full comparison so you can see all of the different aspects of these guys. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his vehicle mode. And I will tell you up front, it is a complex transformation. I'm trying to show you everything on camera as best as I can, but of course it may be challenging depending on the configuration I have it in. Now, starting off, there's one thing I wanted to mention. The legs are actually mistransformed in the box. You want this white piece on the inside. So I'm going to show you how to get that in there, but that is the proper transformation. The white people should not be on the outside, it should be on the inside, and it really locks together very nicely if you do that. All right, so come to the back here. And in the book or in the instructions, it actually tells you to start with the arms and the upper body. I recommend starting with the legs. Open up this panel, 180 degrees. Open up this panel here. And we're going to take this panel. Now, in order to release this foot, this is just part of the articulation. You can squeeze here, and that'll make it easier. If you just pull down, this is harder to release. Right, so you can just squeeze here and that'll release it. Right, that'll allow you to take this and open this up, fold that back in down there. You're going to lift this whole assembly of stuff out of here. It's kind of annoying, but that's what it is. You're going to take this whole assembly here, move this out of the way, and this is going to fold down. There's a auto-morphing piece, and my hip skirt fell off. I mentioned that earlier. I'm just going to leave it off because it's going to keep bothering me. Right, this is going to come down. There's an auto-morphing piece right here. It's on a spring-loaded piece. As you roll this down, it's going to push in that auto-morphing piece. It's kind of cool, but as you first get this figure, it may not auto-morph for you. It might get stuck, but it should push that out of the way and sit down like that. Right? So if you get it right, it should look like that. So this piece that you had on the side, this is going to come down like this. And make sure you open this a little bit before you close it so it fits around. And then this is going to come down and tab into there. So that's what it looks like on the inside. You've got that piece in there. All right. Come to the outside here. This piece is going to flip around. There's a tab right there that's going to fit into the bottom. So bring this in and tab it in. For this part here, you're going to fold this panel inwards. It's going to sit in like that. Fold this panel upwards. Wheels are just going to sit here for now. We'll take care of that a little bit later. And then this triangular piece is going to fold forwards and just meet up there. And now you have basically that side is ready. On the inside here, there is a tab right there that's going to fit into the side of his leg. So get that in there as well. So that's basically one side done. Oh, and we got to do the inside here. So take this panel here, unpeg it from the inside. Remember I mentioned this should be on the inside for the robot mode, should be on the outside for the vehicle mode. Take this panel here. This is going to lift up, rotate forward, and sit like that. Obviously that's going to make his little ramp piece there. And this panel, we're going to leave this here for now because later we're going to fold this out. But there's a whole bunch of panels in here that make up his trailer bed. Right, so that's basically one leg done. That's how you want it. So I'm going to do this other one off camera and we'll be right back. All right, now that we have both legs done, you can put them together. So go ahead and fold out this tiny little panel here. There's 2 tabs here and 2 tabs here. They're going to tab in together. And then this is going to slide down and in. So get this slid down first, then tab all those 4 tabs together. It's not the best fit, but it does work. All right, so you should end up with something like this. All those tabs in, and it kind of attached. All right, next we'll work on these arms here. And these are relatively simple, but there's some tricky steps. So you have to get this panel off. And it really requires bending some plastic. I know, it's just unfortunate, but you got to lift this panel forward just a bit, which will allow you to pull this out. So this tab is underneath this piece. That's the only way. I don't know why they did it that way, but that's the way they did it. We're going to open up this cap up here. That's going to allow you to take this entire arm, swing that out, rotate this down. There's a little teeny tiny tab in here. You're going to fold that out so it sticks out like that. Then we're going to take the panel we just removed, and that's going to come back in. Again, you've got to bend the plastic to get it in. You've got to bend this open. All right? And just leave that there for now. Come to here. You're going to peg that into there. On the bottom of the arm, we're going to take this and extend it. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have trouble extending it, just do that and that'll help you get it, and then you can pull the rest all the way out. It's got to be all the way down. Then we're going to take this, open this up, collapse this down on the hand, and make sure you have the hand in a fist. Should be hidden away like that. It doesn't really matter too much, but you just need it collapsed. And then on this side, we're going to rotate so we have the arm joint facing forward. All right, so same on this side, exact same transformation. All right, now that we have the arms done, we can take care of the chest. This is by far the most complicated part of the entire transformation, and also the most frustrating. Go ahead and get a fingernail down here, open up that panel there. And actually, before we get it transformed, I might as well show you these sound effects here. And they actually, getting the battery in there is a real pain. That's why I saved it until now, because you have to untransform it to get to it. But let's press this button and hear all the sound effects. It does kind of sound like Robert Stack, but it's not actually Robert Stack.
Make a break for cover. I'll try to unleash the power of the Matrix. Open, damn it, open! But my leader, I'm just a soldier. I can't deal with that now. Ernest, you and Archangel transform Autobot City, but you'll die trying, just like Apollyon.
And Apollyon is the name for their Megatron figure from way back when X-Transbots made. So that's kind of a cool little nod. So anyway, pretty cool sound effects, but getting the batteries in there, huge pain in the butt. Open up these panels here. These two just tab in on the top and bottom. Go ahead and open up these panels here. And this is why I saved this for now, because there's a lot of untransforming to get you to this battery. All right, this is going to lift up and out from here. It's a little tricky, but you're going to basically push down on this, and that's going to get this out. So that's basically went like that. All right. Then you're going to get this out, and this is also a similar kind of thing. And you're going to pull. It's just very annoying. But so you can see there's two sets of tabs holding this all together. It's basically a puzzle. All of this is a puzzle. But come onto the top here, lift this up and out. This is tabbed in the front. So make sure those tabs clear and come out. And we're going to fold all this out and out of the way. And now I can show you the battery compartment. So right here is where you put those batteries. So there's 3 LR44s go into this. You just take those 2 screws out. There's a plus right here and a minus here. So the plus goes towards this direction. And that will power the sound effects. Right. So let's continue on with the transformation. It's such a crazy thing. All right. So go ahead and we're going to build this box here. So we're going to come to the front, and this is going to accordion up and out. These panels are going to rotate to the back, and then these white panels are going to make a filler and just sit right here like that. So same on this side, rotate this. These white panels are going to make a filler. This is going to open up. We're going to slide this down, and that's going to make basically the roof. So I'll leave that there for now. There's a panel in here you're going to fold out. You can kind of see how this is coming together, but should end up like that. I'll do it again because it's confusing. Open this up, slide this panel down. That's going to come out like this. Bring this over, and then bring that together. These two are going to tab together like that. So now we're making our little box here. This came out. Okay. And then this whole thing has to accordion up. And leave these doors open for now. You can see there is some like detail and stuff. So you got a steering wheel and a dash and all sorts of stuff in there. But what we want to do is take this piece here. That's going to flip around. It was the other way, like this. And that's going to come up and make the front of the cab. Come to the bottom here. There's 2 panels here. They're going to fold outwards and make the front of the truck. And then come to the inside here, fold out these panels here. And now we have to get this all fit together. And that's why I mentioned this is definitely the more challenging part, because this box likes to collapse on itself. All right, here's our box. Get the doors in. So, and then push this tab into here. I'll show you again on this side. Get this tab into here. All right, and now our cab is complete. Phew. All right. Now we're going to come down to here, open up this butt flap. It's wild how this works, but that's going to fold up like this. And this is going to tab into here. There's a little tab right there. Has to make its way into the bottom of the butt flap. it is a firm fit, so you should feel it tab in. All right, so all I've done is just laid it down so you can see what I'm doing here, but make sure these panels are upwards. Come to the inside here, you're going to fold these, and you might need a spudger or something, but basically these little squares right here have to flip around, and it can be a little annoying, but you want them all the way up like that. Same on this side, all the way up like that. So something like that. Right, now that you have those out, go ahead and come into here. Make sure this panel's up. You're going to extend this out on this double hinge right here. And this is going to come down. And these are going to peg or tab in to the front of these. So make sure that meets up there. That kind of holds it together. You really need to make sure you get that. Fold this out. Get a fingernail in here. There's a little tab to grab onto right there. Pull that out. And it should peg in at the top. And then this is going to come to the top and peg in right here. So it sits vertically. All right, same on this side. Pull this out. Grab the little peg. You can also just hit it a couple times, it will knock out, but that's what it should look like. And now we're going to take this whole panel, and this keeps coming out, and this is going to come around. Make sure it meets its way around all these panels and pieces here. God, it's such a disaster. Come to the front. We're going to take this panel here. So it should look that. Same on this side. And then this whole thing is going to come backwards. And sit behind that. And this is really one of the more irritating parts, as I was mentioning. All right, but make sure all those pegs and panels come in. So there's 1, 2, 3. Then we'll do the other side. And our smokestacks fell down. All right, now we can close the doors, and there's your cab. It's very annoying to do, and I'll get this cleaned up a little bit later. It's not perfectly straight. It's going to need a little bit of adjustment, but you should be able to get that completely straight. Come to the bottom here. We're going to take these wheels out. They're going to slide forward on this. And then there's a little peg right here on this red piece. So get those pegged into there. Same on this side. Get those pegged into there. All right, next we'll take care of these arms. And first we want to take this panel here. Now this has to fit under here. And if you see that it's like short, then that means you haven't extended it all the way. So hold here, give this a little extra pull. It's very, very tight, especially from the factory. I don't know what's going on there, but it should fit just under like that. Look like that. You come to here, fold this panel straight. You're going to take this panel, lift this up. There's a triangular piece here you're going to fold out. This is going to flip all the way around and end up like this. And we're going to take this piece here. I have this rotated in the wrong spot. This is going to fit under here. Again, you got to lift the plastic and get it under there, or you'll have that problem. Right. And this eventually is going to go in here. Don't do it just yet. So go ahead and do the exact same thing on this side. Right, now that we have both arms done, we have a little option here to get them together. So you can take the gun here, fold down the handle, and this will actually fit in between the arms. It just gives it a little bit extra stability. So the tab right here, that's going to fit into this slot right here. And then there's a tab in the front that's going to fit right here. So basically get that pegged in on one side. So it should look like that. The front tab doesn't really sit that securely, to be honest, but Then bring this one up. And there's a couple different places I'm going to peg in. So on the back here, there's a tab. So get that tab in right here. And then get the gun pegged in on both sides. And in the front, there's a tab as well. So get all that squeezed together. And now we've got our top piece of our truck here. We're going to take these pieces here on the bottom. That's going to rotate down. We're going to fold out that piece there. Come to the bottom here, there's a little gray piece that's folded inwards. So it looks like that. Then bring this around and tab it in to the bottom of the truck. Here we go. And there's a tab right here as well, so that secures all of that, all right? So same on this side, get that gray piece out to complete the gas can, bring this down, and then tab that underneath. It should look like that. All right, the last step is actually probably the most annoying and complicated step, so I'm showing you it like this so it's the most visible. But grab a spudger, you're gonna wanna take this piece out, and you just need something to get a little bit of leverage, but it's on a double hinge. So you want to take this double hinge, flip it all the way around so it sits like that with the two tabs facing downwards. Then you're going to take these panels here, lift these up, and we're going to get these wheels in place. So these wheels, you have to fold down these rocker things, rocker pieces, I don't know what they are. And this is going to come into here, and you want to slide that down. There's two tabs on here. They're going to fit into the bottom here, right there. So get those on first, while sliding this little notch up into here. And it can be annoying, trust me. Get that up in there, get this tabbed into there, and then this is going to go right into the side there. Right, come to the side here. This piece is actually going to attach. There's a single tab that holds it together. So get that into there, like that. All right. Right now that we have these side panels in, we can open up these, which we left for last here. You can unfurl all of that. There are tabs on the bottom here. So this is actually going to push down that way. And there is a tab here on the side that's going to fit into the side of this. So get that into the side of his cab, and actually I'll just show you from here. There's the slot right there. So get this over, and there you go. Pick that in, and then same on this side. And then finishing touches here. Go ahead and open up your rear view mirrors, and these can just be situated. Rotate the rockets so that you have the fin on the top. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but you can have it however you like. And there you have Commander Stack in his vehicle mode. I'm exhausted. It's such a long transformation. Once you get it here, though, it is a beautiful truck mode. Very heavy and hefty, pretty solid. Once you get it here, there's a couple little things that have me concerned, but overall it does look really good. It does feel solid. Here's the back. You can't unpeg these little panels here. That's another thing that concerns me, is the plastic around those, but you can fold those down, and you get a little ramp here. And of course you can take a Autobot vehicle, roll them onto there, and there's a little ridge back here that holds it up there. So he can transport some vehicles, which is pretty cool. I guess if you want to, you could put something up here, although I think it looks silly. So that's nice. You can move these around. You can kind of have them however you want. I mean, whatever configuration. I think it looks best like this, but you have the choice, the option. You can't open the doors. It does reveal that detail I showed you earlier. It's pretty hard to see in this mode, but there's the seats and the steering wheel and all of that. Overall, pretty good looking truck mode. There are some panely bits here that don't quite stay together perfectly, like right here. And some of this box likes to come apart, but in general, it does have the look of the truck. It is pretty hefty back here because a lot of die cast, which I forgot to mention, the bottom, his feet, are pretty much all die cast. So you get a lot of heft on the bottom section and the back section. You can rotate the cab just a little bit, just to the limits of these pieces here. But it does rotate, it's just a little bit limited on how far it can go. And for size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. It is basically the same size. MP10 slightly larger in terms of the width of the trailer, but overall it's pretty much the same size here, both in length. I guess MP10 is also a little bit longer, but there you go for comparison. So final recommendation on the X-Transbots Commander Stack. Let me talk about what I like. The robot mode looks great. The sculpt, paint, detail, and overall cleanliness of the robot, and how close they got it to looking to the cartoon, but still looking, good. That's something to, be proud of. The accessories that come with it are really well done. I like the gun. It fits nicely here in the vehicle mode. Stows away. It's got some nice paint and detail. The extra faces and then the face sculpt and head sculpt overall is really well done. They just did a good job on those. And the little minifigure here for the only human figure, that does look good. Although I do think it's a little bit too big. It doesn't really scale with Masterpiece. I do think it looks good. I think the vehicle mode also looks really good. They got a good mix, a good balance of a realistic vehicle. The truck kind of looks like a more realistic vehicle, but it also still has that toon look. So that kind of reminds me of MP10, those days where they were trying to hit the cartoon, but also give you that realistic look. So I really like that. The problem with this figure and the negative is the transformation. The transformation is not fun. The cab here is basically a panel former. It's very frustrating to get it this way. Transforming this and doing it on camera is even more frustrating. There's a lot of takes in the background that I cut from this, but the overall is this back wheel area and this cab area that's the most frustrating. And if it was just the transformation that was a problem, I think I'd still recommend this, but because of the QC issues, namely the screw going into the shoulder, which loosens as you turn it, the hip skirt falling out due to the cracked plastic, which is not an issue just for me, by the way. I confirmed with 3 other people who sent me pictures that they have the exact same issue. And you can just glue it or, use some Kiki and that'll help, but they do have the issue. And then the final thing, which people are going to discover if they do transform into the vehicle mode, is this tab right here is very tight. And getting it out is a problem because as you pull this out, it flexes the plastic here. So you have to hold this plastic with your finger and then push here. And eventually what happens is it chews up the tab there, or it will break this tab. So you got to be really careful taking that out. And I don't know if it's worth transforming it with all those potential QC issues, looming over you in the transformation. So I give this a 3 out of 5 in my recommendation, a partial recommendation, because I think the robot mode is where it's at with this figure. I think they nailed the robot mode. It looks great. It performs well. It's got great articulation. But as soon as you transform it, as soon as you start messing with it, that's when some of the issues start coming into play, and that's where it starts to fail. So if you're planning to just put this in robot mode and display it and use it that way, I think you're going to be happy. If you're going to transform it or do it more than one time or use it in alt mode, I think you might have some frustrations with this guy. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.